Welcome to a busted play. An illegal use of hands to the face short.
Cam Newton was cut by the New England Patriots. Uh, for people like me, myself, um, Mac Jones, number one QB in this year's draft, according to me, because he was. First off, if you don't think that, you're just wrong. But no, I mean, wow. For me, I feel like I'm gonna look smart, not only because I like Mac Jones, but also because he went to a good team. And guess what? The good team, who I thought was going to be like, oh, yeah, maybe we should just play the veteran quarterback. Well, I've thought for a long time that Bill Belichick is definitely the best coach in the league. And I feel like every year, at least in terms of coaching decisions, not always roster moves because he's also the general manager. And I can't say every year I've been on board with that. But every year, in terms of actual coaching decisions, I am always on board with what he's doing. And I thought finally there was a situation where I was maybe going to go against him. I was going to be like, I can't believe he's actually going to hold on to Cam Newton and play him, just because I actually do think Mac Jones is a better quarterback now. Passing the ball, he just looks so much more efficient. Cam has that extra ability in the run game, but even then,
that's all that he has
it
now,
just
though.
yeah, it just feels like his passing ability has dropped off so much from where it was in his prime that I gotta say, I felt like they needed to go with Mac Jones, and I was happy to see Bill Belichick make the right decision, in my opinion. Where do you sit on this exactly?
I always think that you should just start the rookie QB right away if you have a good offensive line. No reason not to. If you can protect the guy, let him play. The best way to learn is on the job. And having him sit behind Cam Newton, like hearing plays called in that will never, ever, ever be called in for him, like it wouldn't do anything for him. And also, I think it helps Josh McDaniels too with that offense, not having to worry about and cater to two offenses during the actual season. Uh, they ran the same offense for both the quarterbacks during the preseason, which was nice. I did think just worry about passing. Don't call any design runs for Cam because you'll never do that for Mac Jones. Just remove those from the playbook for the preseason. And then when it comes to regular season, Cam's going to be there. Have him. Removing Cam gives Josh McDaniels to just not start new. Just go back to all of his Brady stuff. He could just go back to that now. He had his year of fun with Cam. And I mean, he worked well with Cam. He knew what Cam was good at, and it wasn't throwing the ball. So he played to that. Cam Newton led all quarterbacks with rushing touchdowns, had more rushing touchdowns than passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's just a matter now of love to see Mac Jones playing. Bill Belichick is an evil genius for, oh yeah, it's an open quarterback competition, when I feel like he probably had his mind made up the whole time of yeah, we're not gonna keep Cam. But now the real question is, where is Cam Newton gonna go?
Well, hang on. Before we get to that, I don't think he was thinking that this quarterback decision was completely made up from the start. I think he probably had an idea of where it was headed, because I had an idea of where it was headed before the offseason started, which was towards Mac Jones. However, if Cam Newton came out and looked like a not even 2015 version of himself, just do it even simpler, maybe not, jeez, I don't know, trying to think of a good year,
Cam Newton
rookie.
back,
If he would have came out and looked like rookie Cam Newton, not meaning he has that athletic ability, but because he's not going to draw back on his career enough to make him as athletic as he was his rookie year, but in terms of production, because his production in 2015 was off the charts, but his 2011 production was just a little bit lower. If he could have gotten anywhere near that type of production, I feel like Bill Belichick would have been willing to go back to him, just because he would have thought that this season he could give him a better shot. But the thing is he wasn't looking to head in that direction at all. And the trend for Mac Jones is only going to be in the upward direction. I mean, plus you're drafting the most accurate quarterback in college football history. I mean, that helps too. And the reason I also say that I don't think Cam Newton was completely out of the competition from the start was that, Bill Belichick so often does love talking about the history of football. And I don't think he's scared to be like, oh, well, just because the league is going in this direction means that we have to go in that direction as well. I definitely think he's like not worried about that at all. He's just worried about like, hey, what's my roster and what's the best way I can use my roster to win games? And if that meant that it was running his quarterback, he would do it. And if they didn't have Mac Jones, then he would still plan on doing that this upcoming season. But they have Mac Jones, so the right decision to go with is to go with Mac Jones and move on from Cam Newton. And honestly, I have to say I wasn't even considering it beforehand. I don't know why. I just was
I
like,
didn't.
I didn't think there was any way they were going to cut him. But this may be an even better decision because then you can start Mac Jones like they wanted to. And on top of that, there's no way that fans can be like, oh, you have to play the other guy. It's like the other guy isn't on the team. So, no, we're going to let the rookie get in there and he's going to learn trial by fire. And you know what? I'm confident enough in him that he will succeed. And the other part of this is it probably takes a lot of stress off Mac Jones' shoulders because he doesn't have to worry about as much either.
So you don't think any Patriots fans are going to be calling for Jarrett Stidham to get in when Mac Jones underperforms?
I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that.
Uh, no. I do agree. The starting Mac Jones, I agree with it. I didn't expect it to happen though. Like in my mind, it was just already made up that Cam Newton was going to be the starter. Like yeah, I just thought yeah, they're saying it's an open competition, but it's an open competition just to say that because you don't want to announce Cam to be the starter right away. But I mean, he's cut now, and like I posed the question before, you declined to answer it. Where do you think Cam's gonna end up now?
It's a tough one. I really don't know what teams are going to be excited to either bring him in and actually allow him to try to play for the number one QB job, or what, or if he wants to go anywhere where he's not going to be a number one QB. Because honestly, the best situation for him, the 100% best situation for him, is to go back up Lamar Jackson. I don't feel like it's much of a question. I kind of like what I saw from Tyler Huntley in the preseason, but really, I still think Cam Newton's an upgrade from Tyler Huntley just in terms of experience. And I really don't think that after what we've seen Lamar Jackson be able to do, there would ever be any circumstance where it would be like any sort of competition, like, oh, geez, you need to take Lamar out and put Cam in. So I don't think that's a threat. It's just I don't know if Cam would be willing to go somewhere like that where he is guaranteed to be the backup. So then you start looking around the league for teams that don't, or at least have a questionable number one QB spot. And I feel like the logical thing for Cam to do now is to sit and wait to see if there's some sort of injury opportunity where then he can jump in for somebody. Because even though there are a lot of teams with questionable number one QBs, they just got named the starter, and nobody's about to pull back on their starting quarterback after like the few locations we didn't know who was starting finally got starters named. I don't feel like they're just gonna be like, oh, like who's the best example recently? Somebody just like could you imagine the Saints being like, oh, we just named Jameis the starter, but oh, we're signing Cam Newton and now he's the starter, even though we just named Jameis the like it wouldn't make sense. And there's better examples like Denver or somebody else. Like I don't feel like he's signing anywhere and getting the opportunity. So best thing for him, from my perspective, is waiting for an injury to pop up where he can then go in and potentially grab a job over some backup that would be starting then. I don't know. Do you disagree?
No, I the best situation for him is to back up Lamar Jackson. Completely agree with that. Um, there's no shot of like I agree with you again. No shot of him going to a team like Denver, like New Orleans, even well, the Bears too. Just they've announced all these guys that if Cam would have been available like week one, if Belichick would have cut him week one of the preseason, and then gone there, probably would have gotten a job. I mean, maybe he goes to the football team. He like gets back with Ron Rivera, but they already have two solid guys.
Yeah.
And I agree with the point you said as well. Cam Newton does not think that he's outside of the top 32 quarterbacks in the NFL. Whether that's good or bad, I love the confidence, but he is. It's just he won't admit that, and that's what sucks for him because he will not take a backup job. He's either going to get a starting job. Some team is going to be stupid enough to redact like Teddy Bridgewater being the starter, and then he's going to get in there, which seems impossible. I don't think that's going to happen. But that's either one of the possibilities he's holding out on, or the other being he's just going to wait until QB goes down. He's like, yeah, I know I can beat Taysom Hill out to be the Saints quarterback, just like something like that. Or I know I can beat Drew Lock.
Or like
I know.
I talked about yesterday, where Roethlisberger's going to be injured by week 5, and Mason Rudolph is going to have to play, or Dwayne Haskins. Honestly,
Yeah.
at this point, I'd take Dwayne Haskins over Mason Rudolph to start at quarterback if Ben Roethlisberger was out. But I mean, I could definitely see the Steelers being the type of team that would want to step in and sign him to play him if Ben Roethlisberger got taken down. Sorry, did I cut you off?
No, I was just gonna say like, and that too, injuries. And then there's teams that are stupid that'll probably be like, yeah, we got this young court, and I'm saying this just to spite the Bears, but oh, Andy Dalton goes down with injury. Well, let's bring Cam in. Like, no.
That would be hilarious if they did that. If the Bears did that, they were like, yeah, Matt Nagy is just so can't.
I'm just going.
Well,
I'm just going back in my head
had a
and
phrase,
thinking of all
but
these.
not going to use that phrase.
I'm just going back in my head and thinking of all the photoshops that I saw Cam Newton
in Bears uniform.
Last Bears uniforms. I saw him in Chargers uniforms, and I'm like, all these places now have their guy.
Yeah. No, I think if there's one, we both agree on this. But if there's one team to screw everything up in terms of how we just discussed it, how we feel it's going to play out, it's the Houston Texans. Because, everybody in the world, when Tyrod Taylor has a starting quarterback job, is trying to figure out how to make sure Tyrod Taylor doesn't have a starting quarterback job anymore. So I could definitely see David Culley being like, oh, yeah, let's sign him and play him week 1 as the starter.
Without any
No practice.
No practice, no, not looking at the playbook or anything. Just everyone look out for something on the news being like, yeah, SUV that belongs to Cam Newton was involved in a hit and run with Houston Texans quarterback Tyrod Taylor.
It's like you gotta be kidding me. It's like, how'd that happen?
You can't do that.
Yeah, no. All right, is that everything?
Yeah, I think we can cut this here.